نسألك يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار
المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم
القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل
لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك. We are now on our way to do the Umrah towards the holy city of Makkah. It's a 5-hour journey on coach from Madinah, so it's going to be a long journey, but hopefully we'll get there and our Umrah will be a success. Of course, we're in the state of Ihram now, which is a consecrated state in which many conditions apply, and the most obvious is you're wearing 2 unsewn simple pieces of cloth which have no stitching, or do have stitching but do not have any sort of decoration or excess, and simple plain clothing. That's what it means. And then there's various other restrictions, so and it's just a case of being mindful, and the ihram is really a sign of letting go of the ego and slowly shedding all of those limitations which stop the soul from uniting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the sense of becoming closer to Him and being one in your being, your inner and outer being, removing the hypocrisy and everything. So inshallah we'll see you at Makkah.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك.
Arrived in the holy city of Makkah. So this is the scene outside the holy precinct, the holy mosque, the holy haram. We're going to be now going into the Masjid al-Haram and taking a view of the Kaaba for the first time on this particular Umrah trip. And it's very busy. So they do say when you do come to Makkah, be prepared for the busyness of Makkah. So here we are walking towards doing the tawaf. We're walking towards the entrance, and yeah, we're going to be performing the tawaf and the sa'i and doing our rituals for this Umrah, and yeah, we'll see you inside. See, moving towards Masjid al-Haram, the holy sanctuary, and the Kaaba This is the first bait, the first house established for the worship of God, and the very first place which was dedicated to God, and is a mercy and a source and a beacon of guidance for all of mankind. This is Masjidul Haram. There's plenty of building work going on. It's being extended, and this is the scene tonight at Masjidul Haram. لبيك اللهم لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد. اللهم صل على محمد بسم الله وبالله على ملة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم صل على اللهم إن بيتك الحرام. This is the Hijr al-Ismail. This is the place where the Kaaba was supposed to be in a rectangle shape, but it was a square because the Quraysh could not afford pure money, and so they built this section known as Hijr al-Ismail or Hatim, and that is where also they say Sayyidatuna Hajara and Sayyiduna Ismail are buried. And it was near here Abdul Muttalib saw the dream to dig up the well of Zamzam, because this well had been buried by the Jurham tribe after they were defeated by the Khuza'ah, and Ismail had long passed, and Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet, was sat here, would love to pray in the Hatim, and he heard the dream to dig Zamzam, and lo, he dug Zamzam and he found the well of Zamzam, which had long been forgotten after the Jurham. And we know the story of how Ismail was left by Abraham, who said, I have left my child and my wife in a land with no inbuilt wilderness. And then at one moment, then Sayyiduna Ismail the water had run out, and Sayyiduna Hajara was looking for water and ran between the two hills, and then found Sayyiduna Ismail rubbing his heels, or they say an angel with his wings, and water came, and the Prophet blessed Sayyiduna Hajara when she took a scoop of water and stopped the water gushing so much, and said Zam Sah or Zam Zam, and the spring was formed. And in this regard, we have the story of Abraham, who came back and visited and said, change the threshold of your door, when he saw the first wife of Ismail, and Ismail returned, and he interpreted it as he should divorce his wife, and then his second wife. And Sayyidina Ibrahim told his wife that to keep the threshold, and he kept the threshold. This Kaaba was destroyed many times and rebuilt. It says the angels and Sayyidina Adam built it first, but during the time of the Prophet, on 2 occasions this Kaaba was rebuilt or renovated. And one of those particular occasions was when at the age of 35, the Prophet the Kaaba was destroyed, and the Quraysh had to renovate the Kaaba, like the story I mentioned, and the building of the Hijr Ismail or the Hatim, which was part of the original Kaaba, and therefore you cannot do tawaf within that section. The money ran out, and therefore, of course, and the wood they had used was from a Roman ship which had shipwrecked on the coast. And due to that, the money had run out, and anyhow, they had built the Kaaba. But then it came to setting the stone. And this is one example of the many, many examples of the life of the Prophet, where he acted as a unifier, as a person who brought about closeness between hearts and removed hatred. And the Hilful Fudul was enacted, and he said that why don't we get a cloth, because the Prophet himself had, with the Banu Hashim, helped in the rebuilding of the Kaaba. Get a cloth and hold all four corners and hold the rock on there, and then we'll set it in place so nobody can then claim specific ownership or quarrel amongst themselves. And the same was when he went to Medina. He knew the two tribes, the Aus and the Khazraj, had been fighting each other over petty things, and here would be another petty thing of where the Prophet's house or mosque would be. So to ask his camel to make to stop, and that would be the place where he would choose as his mosque or his house. In the same case, he made the mu'akhat, and the mu'akhat was when he developed brotherhood between the Muhajirun and the Ansar, and he made Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam his brother. And in this regard, this Kaaba reflects in the physical sense the unity of God, and it is a place where human beings converge in oneness and unity and let go of all the accidents of their birth and their color and their language and their other things which cause prejudice, and bring them back to that sense of neutrality. One other thing is that thing there, that's known as Mizab or Rahman, that pipe sticking out. It was there when the Quraysh built it. Of course, this Kaaba has been renovated since, but it's the water outlet for water when it rains, and it's quite a sight when it rains here. This place has been flooded many times. The time of Umar al-Khattab and Uthman bin Affan, Christian engineers were brought to create dikes and ducts and things to prevent water flooding the area. And when it would flood, people would do the tawaf swimming. So this Kaaba, we do know that at the time of Abdullah bin Zubayr, he was vying for power with the Abdul Malik and etc. who were based in Jerusalem and in Syria, and he was going to build the Kaaba, demolish it, like the Prophet had said. If it was up to me, I would demolish this Kaaba and rebuild it according to how my grandfather Sayyiduna Ibrahim had built it. And he tried that, but it failed. And of course, we have the Dome of the Rock, which was built, and some say it was built to vie with Madinah, with Makkah as a place of pilgrimage, and it was built with the dimensions of the Kaaba. So that's one story, how true it is anyhow. But this Kaaba is a unique structure. Just talking about it in terms of all the things like the door, the black stone, which of course has been broken to pieces when the Ismaili Qara'imita stole it and broke it into pieces and returned it, and it's been set in an ingot in silver, whatever, in small pieces. And then you have the Hatim, then you have the Shami corner, the Iraqi corner, the Rukn al-Yamani, where Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib's mother entered the Kaaba and he was born, the Multazam, and the Mizab al-Rahman. So just as an architectural structure, it is very, very unique amongst human civilization. And it is known as the first house of God, the oldest house of God, the oldest place of worship. I mean, you look beyond all of these buildings and everything, just try and picture a simple stone edifice with the small mud houses nearby and trading going on and people walking around it, because circumambulation and sort of the Hajj rituals were present well before the Prophet. The Quraysh would lead them. Doing the last tawaf now of the Holy House. Here you have Maqam of Ibrahim, and you have the Hatim there where people are within that praying as well. This is that's the drain pipe of the Kaaba, the Mizab, right there. Look at this, thousands and thousands of people circumambulating the house of God. It's a phenomenon, it's amazing. This sea of human beings and people from all walks of life, dressed in the same clothes and in the same apparel, whether he's a king or a pauper, all dressed in the same apparel and paying homage to God. The power of this as a unifying phenomenon the power of Hajj, the power of Umrah, the power of the Tawaf, every aspect is. Just finished the Tawaf and now we're going to the Maqam of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and we will be offering our 2 raka'at at the Maqam of Sayyidina Ibrahim, where he stood and he raised the foundations of the Kaaba. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ قَوَائِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَعِيلَ. Maqam of Ibrahim.
Yes.
This area is known as the Maqam of Ibrahim when he stood here and he built this Kaaba, and it is known as وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ قَوَائِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَعِيلَ. They built this, and this was the stone where he stood, and they built this Kaaba. ये है मकाम इब्राहिम, जहाँ जनाब इब्राहिम ने अपने कदम रखे थे एक पत्थर पर, and they stood on this stone, and during that time they built the Kaaba. And then Sayyiduna Ibrahim made the dua. He says, أذن الناس في الحج, call people towards Hajj, and they will come on every riding animal. يأتوك رجالا, they will come on foot, and they will come on every riding animal. وَيَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ, from every corner and ravine of the world people will come. And this is the dua of Sayyiduna Ibrahim that we are seeing today, and everyone is doing the tawaf around the Kaaba according to this great monotheist and father of the Abrahamic faith. And as the Prophet himself said, he is of the millah of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Just by Hajar al-Aswad now, and it reminds me of the time when Imam al-Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam came in the time season of Hajj, and similar to these crowds he could not get towards the Hajar al-Aswad, and Abdul Malik, the Khalifa at the time, he could not get to it himself. Suddenly this noble individual with great awe came and was able to just pierce through the crowds and touch the Hajar al-Aswad, and he asked, who is this person? And the poet at the time, Farazdaq, he recites his poetry. He says that the house knows him, the Hajar knows him, he is the son of this land, he is the son of Muhammad al-Mustafa, and that was none other than Imam Zayn al-Abidin Ali ibn al-Hussein. Very famous poetry by Farazdaq. And just behind me there is the Hajar al-Aswad, as you can see. الله أكبر ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. One of the amazing things is how every distinction just dissolved when doing the tawaf and entering the state of ihram and then performing tawaf. Male, female, king, your social status, your earnings, your wealth, everything, every distinction just dissolves when you are in the house of Allah performing these rituals. They really are powerful symbolic meaning to them. So now we are going to the Masa to walk between Safa and Marwa, where we recollect the events of the wife of Ibrahim, Hajara, and his son Ismail, where she could not, the hills descend and then it goes up from the other way, and she ran both ways looking for Ismail. And we've just drunk from Zamzam, which is the famous water, which seems to be never ending, but that's over there. We've just had our drink of that, and now we're going to go towards the sa'i between the two mountains, although you can't see those mountains now because they're covered up with structures and facilitating people from walking between them easier. But most of what the ancient city or the old city of Makkah was is now within this whole precinct known as the Masjid. Heading up towards these two mountains now, Safa and Marwa, and we'll be doing this brisk jog between the two, reciting some prayers and recollecting the events of Hagar or Hajara, the wife of Abraham. All these rituals are Abrahamic, right from the circumambulation and all of these. So there we are, people are coming up, taking a left, and then they are going down and walking. This is some part of that mountain left. Just entering the final part of our 7th hurdle, shall we say, and that's the end of that. And then the next ritual would be cutting the hair, or trimming or shaving the head. Just finished the sa'i. It's a bit of a workout and getting really sweaty, but alhamdulillah. And I'll end this because we're just going for the trim now. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. This is the dua that Ibrahim and Ismail made, that oh Allah, accept all this we have done, and you are the oft returning, the forgiving. And similar, it's apt to make that dua which Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail made when on the completion of the Kaaba. And it's this is the call of Ibrahim, who said once he had finished building the Kaaba, God told him to make adhan, to call, and his da'wah was to call people towards God. And people will come to you from every corner of the world, on every type of animal, and from deep ravines to caves to the mountains to hilltops, from wherever human beings will come, and they will come in their droves. And this is the dua of Sayyidina Ibrahim. This is the call of Sayyidina Ibrahim. He really is a great monotheist, and this act itself epitomizes Ibrahim as well. This act it's a powerful, powerful symbol for the human journey towards God and back to their origin. So just completed that. Gonna go for a trim, and thereupon we'll catch up with you.